Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Poland narrowly avoided a potentially disruptive cyber attack on its energy infrastructure over the new year, underscoring the growing risks facing Europe's critical systems. Now, government officials have linked the foiled assault to Russian security services, targeting both conventional power plants and renewable energy networks. Joining us now to explain it and break it down for us and why it matters for Poland and for Europe is Igor Protasowicki, the cybersecurity expert at Vistula University. Good to have you on TVP World. Welcome.
Hello.
So I want to begin with the attribution of this. I mean, the Polish government is saying that this is, quote, Russian linked. So does that mean, and with what certainty are we that's true? If this is state hackers, is it proxies? Is this something like ransomware? Where are we with the actual logistics of this attack and its attribution?
Well, since there is a full-scale war behind our eastern border, it's very likely that it's one of the sides, supposedly the side that we don't support. So that is why we can link it with a very high probability to Russian hackers. And among Russian hackers, it is very hard to determine whether we are talking about GRU-supported hackers, the internal cybersecurity forces of Russian Federation, or maybe some other hackers that were inspired ideologically or financially by Russia.
All right. So, I mean, with that, I mean, as you said, there's a war next door. This is not the first time that we would see a nation state support these kind of nefarious activities. Let's just share what the Polish Prime Minister had to say about all this. Let's roll that for you in our audience now. We'll talk about it in a moment.
Poland successfully defended itself against others' attempts at destabilizing our energy infrastructure. The critical infrastructure was never threatened, not for a moment, meaning the transmission network, which determines the entire system's security, worked. There are many reasons to believe that these attacks were prepared by groups directly linked to Russian services. I don't want to speculate because, as you know, it is difficult to get hard proof, but I don't think we have any doubts about the source of inspiration.
All right, so we're heard there the Prime Minister saying that this is something that where major systems were never really threatened, they were never really vulnerable. But how true is that? Are there certain types of critical infrastructure, different types of energy systems, maybe if we're looking at certain grids, certain types of energy that are, let's say, more vulnerable than others here? Is it a matter of resources? Is it a matter of what kind of plant it is, or is it an IT issue?
What we know right now is recent attacks were targeted against power plants, wind power plants, and one of coal-based energy and heating power plant. And against core networks, the framework of our electroenergetical system, or key lines were never targeted. On one hand, the distribution network is very well protected. Well, basically, there are not that many vendors in the world who prepare and sell networking security software that is capable enough to provide such a level of security, and Poland is using one of them. Another factor is our energy lines depend on quite old technology. There are many analog solutions that are still operational because they are very capable and they are doing the same thing, which is basically impossible to attack using cyber terrorism means and measures.
Mm-hmm. An interesting point you said there about legacy systems. I mean, this is an area where still a lot needs to be done. It's not just Poland. I mean, this is across the board. Now, the Polish government said they're going to be investing more into cybersecurity. What does that mean practically? Is this on the side of vendors who will be more protective of the systems? Is this something about certain frameworks? Is it about the other elements? Tell us practically what that means in terms of protecting cybersecurity here.
First of all, there is a quite noticeable border between home users' software versus enterprise software in terms of cybersecurity. Poland is using the most advanced enterprise software that is available on the market, and those vendors work 24/7, working on everything that appears on the network and off the network, like on daily basis and live. So any system that is using this kind of support receives updates right away as soon as they are developed. On the other hand, home users are using significantly cheaper, like almost free if we compare it to the enterprise solutions software that is developed on a daily basis, of course, but is updated with a quite noticeable delay. So if we're talking about improvement in terms of cybersecurity solutions in our administration area, it means that more advanced systems are going to be implemented nationwide among both central administration and municipal administration, probably at the same time, because some of the systems are delegated to municipal administration as well.
I want to ask you, though, about risk perception for a moment, because at the moment, what we've heard there from the Prime Minister is generally there was no real cause for concern. That's the public line told to us. I'm curious that in twofold, is this maybe something that is a political statement? If we're looking at back at 2017, I remember the NotPetya attacks. I mean, those were also first not really taken seriously, then something more sinister. That had Russian hands behind that. So where are we with this? How serious what can the public really do in all this? And are renewables in any way, they were also targeted, are they anyway more vulnerable as we go into more this green energy focus? Are those systems more bound to be more vulnerable than older power systems?
Well, fighting cyber terror is very unbalanced, uneven fight, because cyber terrorists and creators of malicious software are always one step ahead, because we can detect it only after it was implemented. So using, well, mentioned before, advanced software to create a protected area is very important, and that's crucial step. On the other hand, we can never underestimate the existence and the importance of cyber threats. So words spoken by Polish Prime Minister are true. That's a fact that we are very well protected by government forces and by our internet police, let's call it that way. The best proof that we are able to exist and we are quite safe is the fact that the recent attacks from last week were prevented. They were stopped before they could even do any harm. All we can do now is just hope that every future attack will be prevented as well. But to make that statement true, we need to invest means and measures over and over again.
Just briefly before we close, if we're looking at this in your experience from 1-2 years ago, where Poland is now, would you say that it's better, we're on the right track? Just briefly, where we're going with general protection of our critical infrastructure.
Since at least 5 years we exist as information-based society, and that means more and more systems, more and more civil activities rely on the internet. Basically, we spend much time on the internet, both we as citizens and we as a nation, as a nationwide administration as well. So that means on one hand we are on a better position because we can arrange more things using web, but on the other hand, it means that we need to implement more means and measures to provide security on both ends, administrative and individual citizens.
All right, so cybersecurity as ever, that double-edged sword. Look, thanks for giving us all those insights today. Much appreciated. That was our guest here, Igor Protasowicki. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here on World Talks, but stay right here for more news and commentary. Goodbye.